Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast. And today on this episode, we're going to talk about micro habits to help you heal your anxious attachment, dare I say faster. So if you are a girly that's trying all the things, you are going on the hot girl walks, you're reading the books, you are going to therapy, and still you're feeling really stuck and you're still worrying, why isn't he texting? And you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, then this is the episode for you, because we're going to go over what I personally do and believe and live and practice and teach that I really believe are really simple things that you can include in your healing routine. You're probably already doing them, or just really understanding the overall approach with how I like to heal with micro habits daily, my anxious attachment. So if you are new here, my name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach, and I love helping overachieving, overperforming, maybe perfectionistic girlies who are slaying in their career. You are a corporate girly climbing the ladder, or maybe you are a real estate mogul with your Airbnbs, or maybe you're slaying at home. Well, maybe not actually slaying at home. That was pretty dark. Well, Halloween is coming. But you are momming it up and you're running a household. I was, in fact, talking to a client from the Healing Girl Gang today. She is a mom of twins and she is just doing it. She's doing it on her own. So all of those, I believe, are success. And at the same time that you might be slaying in those areas, you are sucking in relationship and staying calm and not overthinking. And if that is you, then you are in really, really good company. And if this episode is resonating and you like it, hitting the 5-star review is so special to me. Honestly, it's like me and the camera. So I feel like I'm talking into the void. Having the high five of a 5-star review really means a lot. So thanks for doing that. So let's dive in. Micro habits. So there's a couple different perspectives that makes me unique as a coach. And really, I have not only just have been there and done that. If you are really new here, I used to be anxiously attached, married and avoidant, and now we have an earned secure marriage. And I really know, I what's the Drake's thing? Like, I from struggle from the bottom, now I'm here. I don't know. Please don't make fun of me. Oh, you can. It's fine. You can roast me. But I really understand from the ground up what it takes to heal your anxious attachment. And it really wasn't, I'll just tell you this. I have been in therapy and counseling since I was 16, like literally, okay? And I also just want to be really clear that this is not a knock to therapy and counseling. That is, I feel, a really great foundation. I'd say the good majority of my clients have a background in therapy, or they're in therapy, or just something like that, in order to really get to a place. Because this is what I found, is that I would get into therapy or be in therapy, and honestly, for different things I've been in therapy for, I knew more about my diagnosis and honestly just felt like I was regurgitating the DSM-5 with them. And I just felt really stuck. And I could list out all the things that have happened to me, but still not really healing. And so this is where I, over time and just really trial and error, having some major awakenings, did I really start to create my methodology with how, and my process with how I approach healing anxious attachment. So I want to just give you just some micro habits today that I know can really make a difference. So the first piece is understanding your nervous system. And I will just say this. I have had my own journey with burnout, okay? Like literally adrenal burnout, where the only option for me was to be horizontal. Like literally, I could not even, going on a walk was exhausting and a big thing to get ready for. So as I started to learn more about the nervous system, because here's how I did not honor my nervous system. I went to the Philippines in 2015. I worked my butt off. I think at the time I was helping with event sales. So I would travel, go to this really high powered, high energy event. And then I came home and then I went on this big international trip. Okay. And for some of you, you're like, well, yeah, I do that literally every weekend. I want to ask, how's your sleep? How's your brain fog? Okay. And so, and then I went on this big trip internationally for about 2 or 3 weeks. I came back, and did I take a day of rest? No, I went straight back into my routine, and I felt absolutely like trash that whole week. So fast forward to the last big international trip where I went away for 4 weeks. Coming back, I knew that if my nervous system wasn't dialed in, I could not be, number one, the best partner that I wanted to be in my marriage. That's super important to me. Not only that, but I couldn't be the best leader that I needed to be in teaching all of you how to be kind to yourselves, how to heal your nervous system. So I've really changed, and I've learned the hard way. That was a 10-year span where when I got back this time, I took a literal whole another week off. I did all the things ahead of time. I was prepping months ahead of time for me to ease my nervous system back into a different time zone. So I say this because some of you are like, nah, that's stupid. I don't want you to do that. And that, my love, is part of the problem. Okay. So your body is made out of different systems, your circulatory system, your respiratory system. I mean, like some of you are in medical school and doctors, like you don't need me to tell you this. Okay. But we are learning all these new things about the nervous system and how it is so intricately woven in all of these functions. We're actually now mental health, we're paying attention to it. And one of the things I've learned about healing my anxious attachment is I really have to and need to pay attention to the nervous system. I have a whole program, the High Vibe Healing Reset, that is specifically around the nervous system. But it's really this body focused approach to, over time and with intention and intention, training your body that it's actually safe. And if you know, you know. If you feel like you're constantly waiting for him to leave you, oh my God, he doesn't text you, and your system, you can feel, for me, I know this feeling really well. You can feel the flood of adrenaline, the flood of, oh my gosh, that's the feeling. And that is it's your nervous system, okay? It's your, it's in this sympathetic fight or flight, oh my gosh, freak out. Okay, so in these micro habits to heal, one of the things you want to really address is your body. So, one of the things that's really helped me, a micro habit, is actually taking a walk. And look, I know some of you are out there like, meh, like I get it because I was that girly. I totally understand. But taking walks outside is seriously something so easy you can do. I have a great reason to. I have a dog. Murdoch loves to go on a walk. He's like looking at me right now. Sorry, buddy. But going on a walk, being outside, having your feet on the ground, having sun in your face. I mean, there are so many reasons for us to want to be outside, for the vitamin D. It's just so good for us. And literally, you can do that morning, noon, night, and it doesn't really matter. And one of the things that is going to help you, if you can include this, not if, when you include this into your natural and daily routine, that how your nervous system acts and how it interfaces with its external environment, when you can incorporate that into your routine, you will have less of these jolts of, oh my gosh, I need to talk to him or he hasn't talked to me. Okay. Another micro habit. So a walk, super easy. Okay. The next thing that I want you to be really conscious of of a micro habit would be, who are you following? Okay, we want to really train our brain. And when I say that, if you're opening social media and you're following these influencers that, I don't know, are showing the amazing parts of life, and granted, I get it because I share content about me and my husband, but also I hope you know that and my intention is to also show the real side of a relationship. So a lot of my content is about the realness. But who are you following? Like, I don't know, I don't even know the name of this couple, and I don't want to call them out, but they're this beautiful younger couple. They're kind of blonde and just like lovely, and like they look like a Disney couple. And I can really see how that might paint a picture for you, that they don't fight, that they never have arguments, that they don't have disconnect, or this portrayal online might seem like it's this deep connection, but maybe they're actually really miserable. And we see this on social media, and it's also like just so clickbaity, where couples that have been together online or in YouTube, they break up, and it's like, oh my gosh. And I want you to be really conscious. And so I had this I've seen this on in my community in the Healing Girl Gang, where a lot of you are maybe really limiting your online space, and if the majority of you aren't really considering that, I highly recommend it. That's a micro habit. There's so many things that you can do to limit what you're exposed to online, because it is telling your brain when you see these couples that are connected and they're all so wonderful and lovely, and you are maybe under this impression that they never fight, or that they're in this like love center all the time, then that's not going to help your brain. Okay, so whether that is unfollowing people that are not supporting you in the season that you're in, whether that's being super conscious around how much online time you're spending, how much doom scrolling you're spending, super, super important. So micro habit, unfollow people. Like literally go through your follow who you follow right now and start to unfollow them. I hope you keep following me, but you know, if I'm not helping you, that's not the point. I want you to be healthy. Okay. The third micro habit that I would say is, how are you cultivating a presence practice? Now, when I say that, the whole intention of creating some kind of presence practice is intentionally for creating observational awareness. Okay, and when I say that, I mean, how are you able, instead of being in the spin cycle of your thoughts, how are you observing your thoughts as your thoughts? And if you are new to a spiritual practice or meditation, and I get it. The first time I got introduced to meditation, woo, let me tell you, I actually think it was probably 2015, so almost 10 years ago. I was a yoga teacher. Okay, I'm like, this is so embarrassing to talk about, and I had been teaching for like 3 years at this point. And I was like, meditation, shmeditation. I just want to do the practice. I want to do handstand. I want to do back bends. And I remember my first exposure from a teacher to a meditation practice. And let me tell you, I was crawling out of my skin. There's a bit of, how do I want to say this? Copy. There's a chapter in Eat, Pray, Love, which is a famous book. Julia Roberts was in the movie. And she talks about her experience of meditation, how she felt like there were ants all over her. I wish that was my experience. I felt like my body was literally on fire and I just wanted to crawl out of my skin. So take it from me. It's taken me time to be able to cultivate presence practices that work for me. And I really encourage you to explore that. And P.S., this does not have to be, you have to go to India and go to an ashram and devote your life for 6 months. That is not what I mean by developing a presence practice. Literally, a micro habit that you could include could be as simple as treating your morning coffee or your morning tea like a ceremony. This is actually why I love matcha, and ceremonial matcha, ceremonial cacao are definitely things that I've included in my practice, on and off. But it can literally be just being so conscious of how you make your tea, watching the cream be poured in if you put cream into your coffee or into your tea, watching how slowly you can stir. Things like that, like being totally present and in the ceremony, in the ritual of making your coffee. Literally, that's all, just being totally present with what sensations you feel, feeling the warmth of the cup. These are all things that you could literally incorporate. So I also want to just speak to this, okay? And if you are like, Claire, I am doing all those things already, then I love you so much, then there is something else missing. And it's not just these little habits, because really your body is a complicated system where it may not just be the physical habits that you want to be looking at, but what's in your mind and also what's in your spirit that need to be connected. And I also will say that when these micro habits, it's not like you're going to make a ceremonial matcha and you're going to be cured of your anxiety. That's not how it works. Love you so much. It's not how it works. But as we look, instead of looking at our healing as, I did this, I get this. I did 15 crunches, now I have a 6-pack. That's not how it works, right? But what I want you to see is that it's a accumulation. It's cumulative when it comes to our healing. That taking a conscious break during your workday, looking at who you follow, being aware in the morning of your coffee. Literally, all these things do add up, and they're also not everything. Okay, so I just want to make a case for that. So, that being said, this is the time where I'm going to answer a question from the Healing Girl Gang. And this is my community where we have monthly trainings that are deep dives. You get a workbook. There's also opportunities for implementation days where I literally walk you through step by step with an action taker toolkit how to heal your anxious attachment with different topics. Okay, let's pull up Milena. I think this is how we say her name. So I've been anxious my entire dating life. I've been seeing this very nice guy for a month, and I'm doing my best to contain my overthinking, not put too much weight in texting, and look more at our in-person interactions, which are awesome. Love that. My question is, when does this get easier? Am I ever going to be able to relax? Okay, I'm not laughing at you. I am just like, laughter is just part of my personality, and I just so deeply get this. I so get the misery of this, where is this ever going to get better? And so I just want to be just so transparent, okay? And I hope I show this enough in my social media, and I really want you to hear me now in this conversation, which is I still have anxious attachment, okay? Like I'll be the first one to say that. Do I overthink? Do I watch my husband put on his shoes and I'm like, that was kind of angry how he did that, and he'll come home and I'm like, huh, are you mad at me? And by the way, I may be thinking those things, or I have that first initial thought, but man, let me tell you, I have tools and I have ways of addressing and calming literally in that moment. And by the way, that did not happen right away. Okay. So this is kind of like addiction, right? If you are an alcoholic, that doesn't go away, right? Because the conditions that created that addiction to, let's just take alcoholism, they don't just poof disappear. They're deeply interwoven into the makeup of who you are. And so I want to say that, well, let's talk a little bit about, it's good when we're together. That's great. That's a good sign. And it is very common when we're early in our healing journey that space can feel really scary. That's the prime. It's like swimming at the beach at dusk. And if you're a beach girly, like, that is shark time, okay? It is prime time for chomp chomp. Prime time for your anxious attachment to be activated when there's that spaciousness. Now, I also just want to say, like, doing your best to contain, that is actually part of the problem. When we try to contain it, we try to lock it down, we try to fight it, that is absolutely going to move you in the direction of making it worse. It's kind of like, don't think about the pink elephant, right? And what I will say is that when you have a process, right, when you actually understand and can connect the dots with where are these thoughts coming from, and how do I heal at the root? That's what I call it, healing at the root of where this wound kind of started emerging and getting reinforced. So it's less about, oh my gosh, it's going to go away, because I think that's initially what people think, that it's just going to be deleted from your desktop. And that's just not how, even I don't know, I'm not a tech person. I know some of you are tech girlies. That's not how it works. Okay. Just because you delete it on social media, that is somewhere on the dark web, right? It's somewhere in your makeup. So when it comes to, will I be ever able to relax? My answer is, it really depends on how you work at it. And I'm not saying, and I will also say that it's not just if you are taking the action, it's how you're taking the action. Like, you might have all the ingredients for a cookie and just dump them all into a bowl. It does not mean it's going to make a cookie, at least a good one, right? We have to have a certain process. We have to have dry ingredients, we have to have wet ingredients, and how we put those together does matter in the end result. And so I just want to say, it can get easier with the right process, which is, Milena, you're in the Healing Girl Gang. So then the next thing I would say, the process is happening. Just be really gentle with yourself. And it's normal for it to want to go faster. But I will say, it will get easier as you start to practice the process. Okay? All right, angels, I'm sending you so much love. Weave these habits into your everyday, and you've got this. Mwah!